The Minnesota legislative session is now underway, just got underway this month, and it's very obvious after having conversation with our area representatives in the Senate and the House that transportation funding is going to be a big deal this session, and really that shouldn't surprise everyone. It was talked about a lot last year. It was one of the things kind of left on the table. But let's talk about why we're in a transportation problem. I think a lot of people can drive around the roads in Minnesota and know they're a little bit rough. We've got road projects locally here in Becker County in the city of Detroit Lakes that we're working on. The state's got the same idea behind what they want to work on. The state bonded a lot of money over the last couple of years to help out with local projects, but hasn't really paid too much attention to their own state highway and state road system, which is now something they feel they need to address. And if you drive around the country, I'm sure everyone can find sections of road and sections of highway, etc., that desperately need work. As soon as the spring comes, we're all going to see the potholes we have. We've got 4 extreme seasons. The roads get broken down a lot. But here's kind of what's happened. The way Minnesota's transportation funding was done for is with a bunch of dedicated taxes or dedicated user fees, depending on your terminology you'd like to go. We're talking, things from your truck tabs and car tabs to the gasoline tax, etc. Well, as politicians mandated things like more fuel-efficient standards, more fuel-efficient automobiles, people have continued to drive as many miles, if not more, as the population's increased, yet we've begun to purchase less gas. This was under a lot of directive from our own state and federal governments. Remember Cash for Clunkers? The whole idea behind that program was to get these quote-unquote gas guzzlers off the road, destroy them, make them inoperable so you couldn't even buy them to use for parts. This is part of the reason you've got a big glut on the market right now for used cars, especially older used cars, and you get to that 10, 12-year time frame. And again, to get those gas guzzlers off the road, get more fuel-efficient cars on the road. This has created to a reduction in the amount of money we're now spending on our transportation roads. In other words, a problem the politicians have created, now they're going to demand that we pay for to take care of. So in Minnesota, that's a big thing. Republicans, Democrats both agree transportation funding's needed. It is one of the big things that I think our government is expected to provide. I do want good roads and transportation. I want those roads cleared and taken care of as well. It provides commerce and provides travel for the general population, and it allows our economy to move, grow, and prosper. So I'm all for it. But how are we going to pay for it? That's the big question. And there's a lot of things being kicked around, and it could be some or all of these. One, some type of new dedicated gas tax. Enjoying these gas prices the way they are right now, I don't think they're going to stay this low forever. But right now, it would be real fashionable to easily put on another couple cents or a couple percentage per gallon. It wasn't that long ago, guys. We were paying almost $4 a gallon. I believe we're going to get back to that rate. The reason gas prices are suppressed right now is because of overpopulation of gasoline, or producing as much gasoline as possible in the Mideast right now, along with the slowdown worldwide of the economy, which is another conversation for another day. These gas prices are both positive and negative indicators, which we'll have to get into at another time. But these low gas prices are nice now. Look for a gas tax possibility. Another possibility, some type of user fee on your automobile in the terms of your tabs going up, in terms of some other type of percentage of a tax related to gasoline. There are all different types of things going on out there. But my argument is, why don't we look to some of the other money we have before we start automatically taxing us drivers once again, considering you're already taxing us constitutionally the way you said. We're driving more efficient vehicles the way the state, the federal government said, and yet now you're going to punish us for it? Why don't we use some of this billion-dollar surplus on roads? Why don't we forget about spending the $90 million we did in a Senate office building? Why don't we start reducing some of the tens and hundreds of millions of dollars we're spending on this light rail and metro transit that does nothing for rural Minnesota and for most Minnesotans at large? Once again, there is money in the state to do this problem without having to throw it on the backs of you and I as taxpayers and you and I as citizens. It's up to our politicians in St. Paul to find these resources and allocate them. If they're not there, quit trying to make them up. After all, we had all this business-to-business taxes, an extra $1 billion that they gave all this tax relief for now because they said, well, I guess we didn't need it, we overtaxed it. Now, 2 years later, you're coming back and saying we need more taxes? This is the kind of yo-yo craziness that drives people nuts. The money's there, find it. Quit trying to throw it in our backs all the time.